Hello, one and all. We are back for it. Looks like a round 4 match of this Champions League. We have a couple 10 and 2s playing. Those are some pretty decent records, if I do say so myself. So we are seeing what looks like probably a Lost Box mirror. What's this guy? I can see him go through his deck. Okay, so it looks like Gardevoir. So Gardevoir decks do play the Emergency Jelly since they self-damage themselves a lot with the EX. So I didn't quite see the EXs in play, but I do know that they play a 3-1 split of Ralts, 1 Memory Skip, and 3 of the ones that can teleport to the bench. They also play a 3-1 split of Kirlia. One of them has an attack very reminiscent of Water Duplicates on the Frogadier from the Greninja Break deck back in the day. That was a very well-loved but in my opinion, bad deck. Even though Greninja is my favorite Pokemon, I played that deck quite a lot. But it was bad in my opinion, and it makes me feel bad. The second battle A second battle VIP pass comes down. We do get the Radiant Greninja as well as another Ralts. So this is likely a straight up Gardevoir EX deck. We'll likely be playing 2 copies of Gardevoir EX along with 3 copies of the Gardevoir with, I think it's Serene Arcana is the name of the ability, not entirely sure. Yes, there is a Gardevoir EX in his hand along with the Zacian V. Zacian V has an ability where it can put a Psychic Energy on one of your Pokemon and play and end your turn. That was a very good card. Hasn't really been used outside of that one Whimsicott V-Star deck that did well for all of 1.5 tournaments. We'll have to see what else comes from here. It's very interesting because a lot of these Gardevoir decks do play different Radiants. So do the Lugia decks now. If they play Radiants, they play all different ones. I have seen what all of the top of 16 decks are. This day 2 is very much like a regular regional. They do have a 5 rounds of Swiss, but they cut to top 16 instead of top 8. A change, well, a difference in their format that I think is quite a lot better than our format. I think that we should be cutting to top 16 and not top 8, especially with how many people are in day 2. And I think that monetary prizing should go out to anybody who makes day 2. Or at least packs at the very least. Like, give somebody like 5 packs for making day 2. Like, you go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament and they give you 5 packs for entering. It's disgusting. We get nothing. We have to pay $70 to show up. And then we can make it to day 2, play the entire day 2 of the tournament, and still walk back with nothing. Making day 2 just costs you time. Half the time in Pokemon. It's absolutely disturbing. But anyway, back to the actual game. We are seeing some flower selectings go down from this Lost Box deck. I'm very curious to see how the Gardevoir versus Lost Box deck matchup actually goes. We do see a Manaphy is in play here from the Gardevoir deck. And we did use that ability to put the Psychic Energy down on the Greninja, likely so that we have a just retreat pivot. I don't think you would be attacking with that in this matchup because you shouldn't be playing Water Energy. You should only be playing Psychic. But not going to dwell too much on how Lost Box operates in this matchup. If you want to see how Lost Box operates, if you want that explained to you, go to any of the other matchups of Lost Box from previous in this tournament. They're all in a playlist on my YouTube channel that you can check out. Because we have seen quite a lot of different Lost Box decks, and I explain these decks in great detail almost every time they show up. So we do see the Kirlia evolve down. This is the Kirlia not the one that has the Water Duplicates type attack, but the one that has the Trade type ability, where you can discard a card to draw 2. We do see Rare Candy into Gardevoir EX as well. This Pokemon can attach a Psychic Energy to one of your Pokemon in play. However, you have to put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon in order to use the ability. You cannot knock out a Pokemon by using that. And it looks like we do get 3 energy total to the Zacian and take the knockout. Now we just have to... I don't know how he got all 3 energy, because I thought that was a once per turn ability, but maybe it's not. Looks like he used it twice. I'll have to look that up. I'm curious. Gardevoir EX. No, not the ones that I used to play back in the day. Yeah, it's as often as you'd like during your turn. That's super broken. Oh my god, dude. It's disgusting. Yeah, so he used that ability twice and attached for turn, fully powered up a Zacian V. I believe that Zacian V does do quite a bit of damage. I think it is based off of the amount of psychic energy that are attached to him as well. Let me look him up again as well. Zacian V, if I can spell it right. 60 plus 30 for each psychic. So 6, 7, 8, 9. So 150 is what it's doing right now. With the Storm Slash attack. Ooh, it's 89 cents on TCG Player. So it looks like we are getting the Miltank out with a Nest Ball here. So Miltank is a card that we have not seen in a lot of these matchups. It does an attack route 10 plus 20 for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon in play. And it cannot be hit by V Pokemon as its ability. So this Zacian V can't do anything to it. However, even though Gardevoir EX is a 2-prizer, just like a V Pokemon, it is an EX Pokemon. So it does, the Miltank does not work. The ability does not stop Gardevoir EX from attacking. It still will stop the Zacian, but that's an easy retreat into Gardevoir EX to be able to take the knockout that way. We will have to see, let's see, 20, 2, 4, 6, 8. So we can do 110 with the Miltank to the Zacian if we get 2 energy on the Miltank this turn. That will only put it at a total of 150 damage, and it does have 220 HP. So we are not going to be seeing a knockout this turn, at the very least. Only 1 energy on the Miltank. Looks like a fighting energy. Oh no, we did Raihan to it. We do have the attach for turn. So we do have the attack, but again, not a knockout. 150 damage is on there. We have a remaining 70 HP. So we are going to have to see a retreat from this Zacian. As long as we have an energy card in hand, we can attach for turn to the Gardevoir and load 2 energies up onto it from the discard pile with its own ability. You'll have to self-damage 40 to do that, but that's perfectly fine. You can just hit this Miltank for 190, shred right through that ability since you are not a V Pokemon, and just start swinging real good. We do see a second rare candy going into the Shining Arcana Gardevoir. It allows you to look at the top 2 cards of your deck. If any of them are basic energy, you can attach them. If not, put them into your hand. So it is just a free draw 2 at worst every single turn. And an absolutely amazing card. I can't believe that it was overlooked when it came out. I did not even realize that this was a card until I started seeing it on these streamed matches. But I am very educated on this format now. I did record all of day 1 in, I think, basically 1 day. And this is, all of day 2 is being recorded like 2 weeks later, so... I got a little lazy. I got a little ahead on uploads, so. Alright, we do see that retreat. We also see a collapsed stadium to discard our own Zacian V that's been damaged, preventing the opponent from taking those 2 easy prize cards later in the game. Absolutely immaculate play there. We are going to self-damage ourselves, just 2 damage counters to get 1 psychic energy onto it, and we will be able to take the knockout from there. There are no V Pokemon in play now, so if those Miltanks end up coming back into this board state, they won't be doing anything. There's also 20 less damage that it's doing too, because your opponent has that 1 less bench space. So we do see the Courses Experiment. We are going to be Lost Zoning 2 cards and keeping 3. I don't know what this Lost Box does against Gardevoir. I mean, Dragonite, probably. Dragonite seems pretty good. It's not weak to Psychic. Or, yeah, it's not weak to Psychic. There used to be Fairy-type Pokemon. Fairy types used to have their own card type. They were pink. They were very pretty. there were quite a few Gardevoir EXs that were played back in the Mega format. There were 2 different Mega Gardevoir EXs. One was both Psychic and Fairy type at the same time. They had a double type card that lasted for all of one set. I was very disappointed that it wasn't a whole block thing. And they also had a Gardevoir EX that was printed much earlier than that. That was just Fairy type. And I am just realizing that I think this is the same Lost Box player that we saw like just a round prior to. Yeah, just in the previous one I recorded. I'm not sure if these are all going to be going up in order. I did not put the day 1 matches up in order of recording because they kind of mix and matched rounds in order to fill some airtime. I think they recorded some matches in the back and then just threw them up on the stream when they had dead time, which I love personally, but it made it a lot harder to upload because I wanted to put them in chronological order. But yeah, chronologically, this guy was on last playing against the control deck, and he's the guy who tried to double attach, so. At 10-2 now, so yeah, he did lose, and they immediately put him back on the stream, which is kind of funny. So we will have to see, can he overcome the obstacle that is Gardevoir EX? Gardevoir EX should have, like, 210 HP at least left. I think it has 230. I still have it up on my screen, actually. Oh, no, it is 310. Excuse me. It's got 310. Forgetting that these evolution Pokemon EX are very high HP values. Much in line with the Pokemon VMAX, except they only give 2 prize cards. But you do have to evolve into them, so that makes them both better and worse at the same time. We get the Emergency Jelly down onto the benched Gardevoir and a Judge. So honestly, not really hurting the Gardevoir player too much because the Shining Arcana there from that, I believe that that's the ability name. Please correct me if I'm wrong down in the comment section below. But that can just essentially draw you 2 cards a turn. Unless they're energy, in which case you just put them in play for free, which is awesome. But yep, so both players shuffle in and draw 4 cards off of this Judge. I thought that this format was going to be really great with just Judge in format. However, they are effectively reprinting N and Marnie at the same time in the card Iono, and I am very unhappy about that. And that is a tangent that I might be putting into my own video, my own dedicated video in the future if I have the energy to do so. Basically, it would be a video on game design and how Pokemon does their life cards differently. We are stacking a ton of energy onto this Gardevoir. Okay, what's its... Okay, it's a Chilling Rain Gardevoir. And it is Shining Arcana. So 60 plus 30 for each Psychic attached to it. 6, 79, 10, 12. So it's doing 240 right now. And it does have 140 HP. So what do Lost Box do? I mean, and the Galarian Zapdos V that we did see in the previous match there, that does not do much of anything because your opponent has no V Pokemon in play. You would have to actually load all 4 energies onto it. You're not going to be seeing any reduction at this point. Oh, and the judges are just telling them to straighten up the Pokemon because, like, they were just tapping them to show that they were used for the turn, but it's no longer his turn. So might as well straighten those back up. Remind himself that he is able to use abilities in future turns. So we do see the concealed cards. Gonna discard, draw 2. And yeah, not a lot of options here. That judge was pretty devastating. Your opponent was already so far ahead, it felt like, and then the judge just completely kills your hand. I think that this is Gardevoir's matchup to run away with. And I am personally very excited to be playing this Gardevoir deck. Gardevoir is one of my favorite Pokemon. I do prefer Gallade. I think Gallade is a little cooler, but I mean, before Gallade was a Pokemon back in Gen 3, I think Gardevoir was one of my favorite Gen 3 Pokemon. I just think that its design is really cool. Its Japanese name is way more cool as well. It's called Scarlet. And yeah, it's also really cool that there is a Stage 2 deck that is actually playable. If anybody watched my Scarlet and Violet set review, I just kind of pooped on a lot of cards because they were Stage 2s. Saying that they were probably not going to be meta relevant because the format is too fast for Stage 2s to be viable. There are too many basic Pokemon that can just take one-shot knockouts on things. And yeah, I was proven wrong by Gardevoir. I'm not wrong very often, but when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it seems to be the only, like, EX Pokemon that's doing very well right now. I do know Miraidon Regieleki is pretty decent, but it did not make it into the top 16 of this tournament. So, a little unfortunate to see that because I was a little bit excited for that as well. But I do have all my cards ready for this upcoming format. I am very excited to play into it because I am tired of the current format. I just want some things to change. It feels like we've been playing the same format for way too long. So we are using the Nest Ball to search out the Drapion V. That will be going directly to the bench. And do you really want another 2-prize Pokemon in play? Especially one that can't attack? It costs 4 energy to attack. This Gardevoir that's on the bench is able to just one-shot you. Maybe he's like trying to stall? I don't know what he's doing at this point. And I know I did say in a previous round, like, there's no reason to scoop in Japanese best at 1. But your opponent has 2 prize cards remaining. And you are quite literally trying to set up a Drapion, 4 energy Drapion in order to contest with a single prize Gardevoir EX that's hitting 240. Like, bro, just accept your defeat. But I mean, again, no reason to. Might as well give the kids at home a show here. But yeah, I don't think there's any other way that he can come out of it, especially since he still has 6 prize cards to take. If he only needed like 2 or even 3, I'd say that there might still be some world where he can come out. Like if he needed 3 prize cards remaining, he could maybe boss knock out the Gardevoir with all the energy on it. Then the Drapion could not be one-shot by the Gardevoir EX. So then maybe you could finish it off with the Drapion on the next turn. But I mean, it's going to take at least 1 more turn to set up this Drapion. Oh, and he's switching into it and passing. He has 3 energy on it. Yeah, so that's 1 more turn he needs. And he is just going to let this Drapion get knocked out. 3 more energy go down to that Gardevoir. We are hitting for a whole bunch of damage. And honestly, just goes for that Drapion play just because he's like, this is the only thing I'm even capable of doing. I'm just going to play cards because I can. I'm going to put up a 2-prize Pokemon because I know you could just knock it out. And I'm going to let you take the game 1 turn earlier. Just kind of like fall on your own sword, so to speak. So, good for him. Let's see. How many rounds has this been so far? Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4. This was round 4. So there is one more round of Swiss. Maybe this guy did seem like really happy. He covered his eyes like he was about to cry. So maybe this guarantees 11 and 2, maybe guarantees top 16 for him. So if so, that is awesome. I do know that there were at least 2 Gardevoirs in top 16. Very happy about that. But as always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get notified when new videos go live. I love you all. You're very kind, and I appreciate you. And just comment something stupid. I don't care. Just anything. Feed the algorithm. He's hungry, man. He's hungry. He's starving. And we'll see you guys next time.